And also, in deserting their military obligations, the Mamluks also lost their military spirit. We talked a bit about before how they beat off the Crusades, they beat off the Mongols. What a feat for that time. But the military training from 1382, or at least, you know, sometime around there, till the Ottoman conquest, the fighting spirit of the Mamluks was in decline. David Aleon wrote about this, and in a very interesting book, it was he wrote about the Mamluk attitude towards firearms, and so, but the traditional exercises, they were known as furusia, and it taught the Mamluks how to fight on horses and with swords and lances and everything like that. Those were their main weapons. That art had declined, and also the hippodromes, which are places used basically training fields that they used to learn these skills, they had fallen apart due to neglect or rivalries or even now flooding, but they were basically not rebuilt, or there were projects to, but it was not a concentrated effort to really maintain them. And so in general, military training greatly declined, and so a lot of techniques and so on, by the time of by al-Ghuri's time, they were forgotten or they were sloppy. And also, there was a time, there was the problem of poor military discipline. So that certainly makes sense if we have this narrative of the corruption of the Mamluk class I described before. Some Mamluks downright deserted al-Ghuri. After the battle was sort of known to be lost, after it was like, okay, we've lost this, a lot of the Mamluks just up and left. And he also, Ibn Iyas said, now it does seem that Iyas is fairly opinionated, judging by some of the words he said before, but it is worth noting that at this battle, he said that the Mamluks showed no feats of horsemanship, and he said that they were useless in combat as blocks of wood. So that's pretty telling. And, you know, such descriptions could be due to the chaos of battle or even the frustration of defeat. That is a possibility. But, again, that lack of military discipline, it does, again, fit that narrative of class corruption. And, of course, there were some Mamluks who did fight well. There was, Iyas even named one called Sudun ibn Janibeh. He held several high offices, and in battle he was said to show great courage in action and splendid feats of horsemanship. So obviously, we could assume that he was not alone. But others caused trouble. Before the Battle of al-Sheri'at, there were Mamluks who refused to march out to battle unless they were paid almost 4 times as much as their current wage. So, and yet the treasury was empty. So, and this created a loyalty crisis because the Mamluks actually threatened to leave Tumen Bey over this. Tumen Bey, who had just been elected Sultan shortly after the first battle. And Tumen Bey had to sell items and even offered to step down. And that was the way to resolve this crisis. With the Mamluk class being corrupted from their getting comfortable with the Iqta situation, with their Iqta holdings, and so on, we could see that their military discipline just went down. Their military discipline went down, and they felt no need to be in the military service anymore. So therefore, their fighting skill went down, and also their military discipline, and that which is fatal for any army.